Daniel always believed life was a race. Every morning, he woke up before the sun, checked his phone, replied to emails, and rushed through breakfast. His mind was always busy thinking about money, success, and how to move faster than everyone else. He believed that one day, when he reached the top, life would finally feel beautiful. Daniel lived in a small house with his wife, Emma, and their 80-year-old daughter, Lily. Emma was kind and patient. Lily was cheerful and full of questions. But Daniel rarely noticed the small moments they shared. When Lily wanted to show him her drawings, he would say, "Later." When Emma wanted to talk about her day, he would nod while staring at his phone. Daniel often said, "I'm doing all this for you." But the truth was, he was never really there. One evening, Daniel came home late again. Lily was waiting at the door with a handmade card. She smiled brightly and said, "Daddy, I made this for you." Daniel glanced at it quickly. "That's nice, sweetheart," he said, walking past her toward his laptop. Lily's smile faded. She quietly placed the card on the table. Emma watched this silently. She had learned that arguing would not change Daniel. She believed that one day he would understand on his own. Weeks passed like this. Days blended into nights. Daniel's life was full, but his heart felt strangely empty. He couldn't explain why. One day, Daniel received a phone call that changed everything. His old friend Michael had passed away suddenly. Michael was someone Daniel had grown up with. They used to dream together, laugh together, and talk for hours about life. But as years went by, Daniel became busy and their calls became rare. Daniel always thought, "I'll call him someday." That someday never came. At the funeral, Daniel stood quietly, watching people share stories about Michael. They talked about his kindness, how he always listened, how he made time for others. Even when life was hard, Daniel felt a deep pain in his chest. Michael was not rich. He wasn't famous. But people loved him deeply. On the drive home, Daniel was silent. Emma didn't ask questions. She just held his hand. That night, Daniel couldn't sleep. His mind kept replaying memories, Lily's unfinished stories, Emma's quiet sighs, Michael's laughter, for the first time in years. Daniel asked himself a question he had never asked before. What if I'm winning the race, but losing my life? The next morning, something felt different. Daniel woke up and did not reach for his phone. Instead, he watched the sunlight enter the room. He walked to the kitchen and saw Emma making breakfast. "Good morning," he said softly. Emma looked surprised but smiled. "Good morning." Daniel sat at the table with Lily and listened as she talked about school. Really listened. He noticed how her eyes lit up when she spoke. He laughed at her silly jokes. That morning felt simple but peaceful. Daniel decided to take the day off. He wanted to walk, think, and understand what he truly wanted from life. He walked through a nearby park and sat on a bench. An elderly man was feeding birds nearby. The man smiled and said, "Beautiful day, isn't it?" Daniel nodded. "Yes, it is." They talked for a while. The man shared stories about his family, his late wife, and the lessons life had taught him before leaving. The man said something Daniel would never forget. Success feels empty if you have no one to share it with. Those words stayed with Daniel. That evening, Daniel came home early. He helped Emma cook dinner. They laughed when he made mistakes. Lily danced around the kitchen. For the first time, Daniel felt truly present. Days turned into weeks, and Daniel began to change, not all at once, but slowly. He started setting boundaries at work. He turned off his phone during meals. He made time for family walks, movie nights, and simple conversations. Life didn't become perfect. Problems still came. Work was still demanding. But something inside Daniel felt lighter. One night, Lily asked, "Daddy, why are you home more now?" Daniel smiled and said, "Because I realized I was missing the most important part of my life." Lily hugged him tightly. Emma noticed the change too. She felt seen again, heard again, loved again. Months later, Daniel visited Michael's grave. He placed flowers and whispered, "Thank you." He understood now. The purpose of life was never just about achieving more, earning more, or becoming more. It was about valuing the people who walk beside you. Life becomes beautiful not when everything is perfect, but when you choose to love, listen, and be present. Daniel still worked hard, but now he worked with meaning. He knew that time was limited and moments were precious. Every smile shared, every conversation heard, every moment valued. That was the real success, and that was how Daniel learned to make life truly beautiful by valuing the people around him.